Wicked is directed by John M. Chu, and it is a new musical film based on a lot of things. So let's get this out of the way. It is based on the musical Wicked by Stephen Schwartz, which is based on the book by Winnie Holzman, which is based on a loose adaptation of a novel by Gregory Maguire, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is based on L. Frank Baum's The Wizard of Oz, which, and also based on the 1939 classic The Wizard of Oz film. So that's a lot of things this movie is based on. And I had to say that because it's just a lot going on for this movie. There's a lot to know about going in before this. It is a part one. Part two releases next year. And I don't want to know anything about part two until either I see the musical or I wait until the film comes out next year, because I really liked this film. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I'd like it a decent amount, but I was impressed as the film continued. I liked it more and more as the film went on. Despite its 2 hour, 40-minute runtime, this is a long movie, and sometimes it feels like that. So let's go over the plot real quick. So Wicked is about Elphaba, who in The Wizard of Oz is the Wicked Witch of the West. It's about her as she takes her sister to this school academy, this magic, I don't think it's magic, but it's just some academy where they learn about like the world magic and whatnot. She ends up enrolling in the school because the professor sees her use magic powers and wants to take her under her wings. Also, Galinda, who is Glinda, the good from The Wizard of Oz, she's there as well. And she wants to learn magic as well, but the professor doesn't want to teach her. So she's kind of jealous of Elphaba, but they also become roommates and they don't like each other at first. They grow a friendship, all that fun jazz. There's a lot going on because it is a 2 hour, 40-minute film. It is a part one of part two. I don't know exactly where this is in the musical. I don't know if the end of this film is before the what's it called, the intermission in the musical. I don't know anything about the musical, but I will say that I was very satisfied. I really enjoyed Wicked. Something to know about this film, and or just Wicked in general, is that it is a reinterpretation. It is a reimagining, not just of The Wizard of Oz in general, but it's just the perspective of the Wicked Witch of the West in a new light. It's not, this is the untold story of The Wizard of Oz. It's not, oh, this is the true story. This is just a fun reimagining. And apparently it's really political in the musical and whatnot. I just don't know much about it. But just think of this as of now, if you're not familiar with the musical at all. Just think of it as a fun reimagining of the Wicked Witch of the West perspective, because in The Wizard of Oz, she's a villain. She's evil. She's ugly. That's what they call her. Only ugly witches are evil. That's such a fucked up thing to say. But this is a sympathetic character with a tragic backstory. And eventually she dies, because that's how the film opens up. It opens up with the ending of The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy and the lion and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, they're happily leaping on their way back to the Emerald City on the yellow brick road. And all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but in the background, like, oh shit, the Wicked Witch of the West is dead. And in the film, she's the sympathetic character, and she's not actually evil. It's fucked. So you got to go into the film thinking it's not the true story of The Wizard of Oz. It's a reinterpretation. It's a reimagining of, and a flipping the script of this character, of this character's perspective. So don't go into the film thinking otherwise. So that's kind of the plot. There's a lot more going on too, because there's a lot to unpack here. But I just wanted to get my thoughts out of the way, that being what I thought of the filmmaking, what I thought of the songs, the acting, production, all that fun jazz. Let's talk about the acting first. Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, she's really damn good. She's really captivating. And she had to do a lot in this film. Not only is she green the entire movie, not only is she painted green for the entire film, So the actor had to be painted green like every single day. That takes a lot of time and dedication, but she's just really damn good in the film. She has a fantastic singing voice. All of her songs are great. And as a character, I really liked Elphaba. She's relatable. She has ambitions. She's confused about her place in the world, but she knows who she is. So I really like the character and I like the arc that she goes on. And Cynthia Erivo, she's fantastic. She does a whole lot and she puts a lot of herself in this role. And something that I was a little iffy on because I didn't know anything about Ariana Grande's acting abilities outside of her Nickelodeon stuff, but Ariana Grande plays Glinda, whatever. She was very surprising. I did not expect that at all. She was very captivating. She was very enjoyable. She's sort of a comic relief in this film. And she plays this character who is so self centered. She wants to act like she's helping out others because she wants people to adore her. But as the film goes on and as she connects more with Elphaba, you see more to her character, but she still has that, oh, I want to be liked by everyone. She wants to do good, but she wants to be liked by everyone. That's a real driving force for that character, and Ariana Grande plays her excellently. I heard talks about how the producers of this film want to nominate this for a lot of awards for the Oscars, and especially Best Actress and Supporting Actress. Before seeing the film, I thought, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know if these are going to be performances that are going to be mind blowing, but after seeing the film, I wouldn't mind at all because Ryan Gosling was nominated for Barbie for Best Supporting Actor last year in a very light-hearted, goofy, funny role. And so this Ariana Grande as Glinda is just that, but a girl. So for that, I would like to see, or not I would like to, but I wouldn't mind a Best Supporting Actress nomination for that. But for Cynthia Erivo, I really want to see a Best Actress for that, a Best Actress nomination. She killed it. She does a lot. And I just really enjoyed that character. I felt sympathy for that character, and she's written really well. Let's talk about the songs in the film. I don't know if there's any new songs. I don't know if there's any new songs that weren't in the original Wicked musical. But I just want to point out a few songs that were in Wicked that I really liked. Actually, I liked all of them. They were all really, really good. Some of my favorites being, of course, Defying Gravity. I thought it was a perfect way to end the film. Not just because it's the if it is the ending of part one in the musical before the intermission. I thought the way they built up to that, and I thought the way that it was used for the film was beautiful. I really liked it. But other than that, let's see. I love the popular song with Ariana Grande. Glinda's trying to tell Elphaba how she has to change up her style, how she has to walk and move and yada yada to be popular so people can like her. It's a really fun song. Dancing Through Life, Jonathan Bailey plays this character. He attends the academy and Glinda falls for him because she thinks they'll be the perfect couple that everyone will love to see. I really like that song. I think it's probably my second, third favorite song of the movie just because the other songs are so damn good. But that sequence is probably the second best sequence in the film, with not just because of the song, but because of the directing, the camera movements, the choreography. I'll get to choreography in a second. But that moment, Dancing Through Life with Jonathan Bailey singing, it's just really damn fun. The whole sequence is great. The Wizard and I really like The Wizard and I. The thing I didn't like about it though was for a while it just seemed like, oh, Cynthia Erivo is just standing in place and singing or walking and singing. I thought there would have been a little more going on in terms of framing and camera movements and whatnot. But as the song went on and as Elphaba goes out into this field, there's wider, grander shots and Elphaba's like running and she's sort of flying in the air as she takes these long jumps. So as the song went on, the directing and the framing got better. So it made my enjoyment of that song in that moment a lot greater. And there's also this really great sequence or this really great shot in the sequence in the song "The Wizard and I," when Elphaba's walking and she's in this area where like a lot of lights are shimmering through some glass and whatnot. There's something really interesting. I don't know if anyone's talked about this, but it looks like for a brief moment her natural skin tone is shown as she's bathed in this light. And if it's something done practically or in post, it just looks really damn good. And I think in the moment, I think it's intentional, and I really, really liked it. I was very impressed, and at that moment, I was instantly hooked. I had enjoyed my time with the film up until then, but at that moment, I thought, damn, I think this is going to be really, really damn good. And it was. I liked it. No One Mourns the Wicked is the first song in the film. I got the gist of it, but there's this thing with musicals where if there's a lot of characters singing at the same time, I kind of can't understand it. I don't think it has to do with the sound mixing or sound editing and whatnot. I just think it's something personally with me that I just can't sometimes understand when a whole lot of people are singing. Not just in this film, but in a lot of other musicals too. So it's not, I'm not docking points for that, but I got the gist of what the song was going for. I still liked it, although I thought the beginning is a little slow, not just for the song, but the movie in general. I can't find it, but it's this moment where Elphaba and Glinda are roommates, and they're singing to each other about how they don't like each other as roommates. I can't find the song, and it's kind of upsetting because it's one of my favorite songs, and it's one of my favorite sequences of the film where the editing really shines in place because it's moments of the two characters. Like the screen is split in half, and each side of the screen are close-ups and mediums of Elphaba and Glinda singing about each other to each other in sync, about how they don't like each other, about how they're just annoyed with each other. And I just thought it was a really, really fun sequence that got us in the headspace of both of those characters. I'm really upset that I can't find the song, or what that song was. Maybe I'll put it like in post. I'll put the song name right here. But it's upsetting that I don't know what the song is. I think that's kind of all the songs I really, have a lot to say on. There's a few Jeff Goldblum, or there is a Jeff Goldblum song. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say, but Jeff Goldblum has a song. He plays Oz. Jeff Goldblum's great, of course. He's awesome, but in this film, he's really good. I liked it. I guess that's it in terms of me just wanting to talk about the songs. Let's get back to the film in general, like plot, pacing, editing, sequence of events, whatnot. Something I want to say is this is a really well made film in terms of production, because when I saw the trailers, I thought, oh, this is probably going to be a big CG mess, a bunch of CG nonsense everywhere. And there is a lot of CG in the film. And, seeing something at home on your phone or on your TV, whatever, it might not look so hot. But when you go see something in a theater, of course, special effects look great and detailed and whatnot. It's upon like reflecting, I think, okay, there's a lot going on in terms of the sets, the dancing through life moment. There are these. There's this library where there's a section where it's a big circle, like a big tube, and the books are lined up in the wall in this circle, and they move around, and the actors are actually moving on these rotating in this rotating cylindric library, and the way the camera's moving around it looks great. It's fun, and of course the choreography and the planning, it's all fantastic. So when the characters are moving around, I'm thinking, okay, it's not like a CG mess where CG bodies and big CG walls and stuff. No, it's an actual moving, rotating set, and actors are on it. So it gives you a tangible connection to the film. There's a sequence in the beginning of the film where like the camera's moving around all of Oz and you see like a bunch of flowers. Apparently they planted a bunch of flowers for that. It doesn't look, or if it's that shot, I don't get the feel that it's all like practical and whatnot. But there are a lot of moments where like, okay, this is a big set, and of course they had a lot of stuff going on here. They built this stuff, and all the sets look great. I really like the production of the film. The big, tall, overarching buildings, the school set, the rooms, the room that Elphaba and Glinda share, the giant train that comes along. Of course, one shot it looks CG, but it's an actual train they built. You look at behind the scenes stuff, it looks really damn cool. The Emerald City looks great. Of course, there's a lot of CG stuff there too. The monkeys, the flying monkeys. They're all CG characters, but they look really good. And there's this goat professor, because I guess animals are characters in this film who can talk and walk and live among humans and whatnot. And of course, it's an all CG character. It looks like CG, but it looks really good. So I'm really happy that there's a lot of practicality in this film. There's something tangible in this film to really amplify the feeling of watching a real movie that's not just CG mess. And because it's a musical, I felt like they had to do that to both be reminiscent of the musical, yet feel like its own beast. Because when you're watching a musical, you're not watching special effects as in CG and stuff. You're watching practical sets move around, people on wires flying around too. It's really cool. So the fact that they were able to translate a musical to a live action film, not live action film, just a film in general, and it be its own beast, I think it's commendable in its own right. Outside of the music, outside of the songs, John Powell, a composer I really like and respect, did the score. And for the moments I do remember, of course, the songs are more memorable, but for the musical moments I do remember, I thought they were really well done. John Powell's a great composer I really like and respect. Not a lot of people talk about him. But I like him. I just wanted to point that out because I didn't know he composed the film, that being just the score, other musical aspects that aren't the songs. So I just wanted to point that out real quick. I wanted to get back to choreography. I went off on a weird tangent about the practicality and the sets and whatnot because I was talking about Dancing Through Life and the rotating set. I want to get back to the choreography. It's all really great. What can you say? It's really well planned and executed. You don't see people in the background kind of like mess up or not be in the same pace as other people. I don't think people just really understand how much planning goes into something like that. Not just characters dancing, but camera movements around them. And not just the dancing, but when characters do certain moves and whatnot, and how it matches with the beats of the song perfectly. So people need to really think about how much planning goes into stuff like that. And of course, you know the songs already. You know what the songs are. You know when certain beats are going to happen, but it's matching it in real time, which is great. And apparently all the cast did their own singing in real time. And of course, everyone has a great singing voice in the film. Of course, it's great, fantastic. Every singing voice is great. Cynthia Erivo is, of course, the standout. Her great moments in The Wizard and I, and especially Defying Gravity, are fantastic. Let's talk about a negative I had with the film, something that I didn't think was really all that strong. There's a talking point in the film, a subplot about how animals are being mistreated and they're being outcast and they're being blamed for things that have happened in the past and that are happening. I just wish that subplot was focused on a little more because it doesn't really feel like it has a whole lot of weight to it. Of course, it's a big reason why the third act happens, and it's a big reason why Elphaba becomes the character that she becomes at the end of the film. I just wish there was a lot more focus on it and depth and weight, because as it stands, it's just, hey, animals are mistreated because we were blamed for something that happened in the past. That's really all they say about it. So the goat character, I like the goat character, the professor. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I liked him in the film. It sucks what happens to him. He gets taken away. Apparently, he did something bad, and this other professor comes in and says, "Hey, I designed something called a cage that we hold animals in." And Elphaba goes, "What? Then how will they walk and talk?" So it's an important part of the film because it's the reason why the characters go to Oz in the third act. They say, "Hey, can you help the animals because you're so powerful and great? But and since you believe in me, can we work together to do something for the animals?" And I don't want to get into spoilers about what happens in the third act and what eventually happens with Elphaba becoming, the Wicked Witch of the West. It's just that it's supposed to be really important to the film, but it doesn't feel like it's all that important because there's other things to discuss. There's other things going on in the film, like Elphaba and her magic abilities, her being an outcast in the film, and the issues and the conflict between her and Glinda. I just really wanted more of that aspect to make the last act of the film much more impactful because what does happen with like the monkeys at the end, that is really interesting, and I didn't expect the twist to happen at the end because I know nothing about the musical. So it was really cool to see, but I just wish there was more going on with that subplot of the animal stuff because as it stands, it's just, hey, we were blamed for stuff that happened in the past. That's it, they kind of just say it as it is like that. I thought it was weak, but what are you gonna do? Hopefully they elaborate more on it in part two. But as it stands, it's just not that strong of an aspect in part one. I want to discuss possibly my favorite moment in the film. If not like top three, it is possibly my favorite moment in the film that isn't Defying Gravity. It's the scene where they go to the Ozdust, which is like some sort of club or something. All the students go so they can, have a good time and dance and whatnot. Glinda wants Elphaba to go, and there's a really sweet, tender moment in the film, in that moment where Elphaba goes. People are making fun of her because she's in her dress and she looks like a witch. It's not like people see her as a witch, a traditional witch. It's just that's the way she's dressed. And she's dancing on her own. People are laughing at her, but she's defiant, she's strong on her own. She doesn't care what other people think. She does, but she doesn't want to show it. And Glinda feels awful because she gave her the hat to match the outfit to, because she thought it was ugly. Haha, if she shows up, people are going to laugh and make fun of her because she's dressed ugly. Ha ha ha. But the professor says, "Hey, Elphaba wants me to train you too. So, yeah, that's it." So Glinda feels bad because Elphaba was trying to be nice to her, like how Glinda wants to be nice to everyone else. So she dances with her, and it's a really sweet scene. She dances the way that Elphaba dances. They dance with each other. It's a really sweet moment. It's one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite moment of the film. I just thought it was a really nice, really touching moment, and it's quiet. Of course, there's the music going on, but there's not a lot of talking. It's just the actors in that the aura that they have, that captivates you, that draws you in. Their facial expressions, their movements. It's so captivating. It's so powerful. It's such a great moment in the film. Damn, the more I think about it, I really like this movie. Damn, because those moments are strong. Those soft, quiet, powerful moments when there's not a whole lot of singing going on. It's great. Before I close out this video, let's talk about the pacing of the film because this is a 2-hour, 40-minute film. Before watching the film, I talked to my girlfriend. I said, "Hey, do you think we'd have enough time to go see the movie, go home, pack, and wake up early enough to go to our trip to Reno?" We did it anyways. And I thought the film was just a little slow. I thought like the first maybe 20 minutes or so are slow because it's a lot of setup to explain the film because we start off seeing possibly the greatest shot in the film, one of the greatest shots in the film, Elphaba's hat, after, of course, the Wizard of Oz takes place. Dorothy throws the bucket of water on Glinda and she melts. We just see the hat and smoke, and then we see the monkeys flying away after that. What was I trying to... Oh, yeah. So we start off on that. That's the start of the film. A really strong start, I think. And then we go into the song in Munchkin Land where they're saying, no one mourns the wicked. And I'm thinking, when are we going to get to the story, though? Then Glinda comes in, explains her backstory, and then more song, and then someone says, you knew and were friends with Elphaba, right? The Wicked Witch of the West, right? And then we get to the rest of the film. I think we get to the rest of the film at that point. So I just thought it was just a little slow and a little choppy in the beginning. I don't know if it's the structure of the musical and if that's how it goes beat for beat in the musical. But for my liking, personally, I just thought it was a little slow and a little too much here and there in the beginning. It's once we fully get into the backstory and the main story of Wicked, that's when I think the pacing gets a little better. And of course, there's moments here and there where it's like, oh, the animal stuff. It's of course it's important to the film, but because it's not to me personally presented also well, and it doesn't feel as strong as it wants to be, it feels a little choppy and slow at those moments. There's this song where Elphaba is singing like, oh, I'm not the girl, I'm not like Glinda, because Jonathan Bailey's character, I can't remember his name. Of course, he's great in the film. I just can't remember the character's name. It's been a while since I saw it, and I'm not so familiar with the musical. I just thought like, okay, the film stops and halts for a second so she can sing about how she likes the guy. But that's how I see it, at least. And we just kind of stop. I'm like, wait, I want to get back to the other stuff, though. I want to get back to Glinda and Elphaba beefing and becoming friends and whatnot. I want to get back to Elphaba learning magic and stuff. Can we get back to that, please? Or we just stopped. It's for that song, and it's a good song, just not super memorable to me. In that moment, it just feels like we just grind to a halt for that. That's kind of really it. I think the rest of the film flows along pretty smoothly despite the long runtime. There were just certain moments where I thought, okay, I want to get back to the meat of the film. I want to get back to those really strong moments. I want to get back to the plot moving along, especially with the beef between Elphaba and Glinda at first. I really like those moments. I wish there was more of it, but I just wish the film was just a tad smoother. It's just, of course the pacing's great, I said. It's just, that one song we grind to a halt, and I thought, okay, come on, we can speed up a little. But other than that, I think the pacing's great. And I think that's kind of it. I think that's kind of all I wanted to talk about as of now for Wicked Part 1. If people are upset that Elphaba is black, they can go fuck themselves. There's come on, she was great. She's great in the film. Just a small little side subject right there, because I remember when the trailers first dropped, people were like, oh my god, they're going woke, she's black. What? Like, come on guys, what the fuck? It's a fucking movie, get over it. She did great. She kicked ass. She killed it. I thought Cynthia Erivo was fantastic in the film. There's a lot to think about in terms of going into part 2 now, because I didn't think about it at first. I didn't think about this aspect. Elphaba has a sister named Nessie, I think. Nessie. I really want to be right on this, because I don't want to just say her sister. Nessa Rose. So Elphaba's sister is Nessa Rose. She is in a wheelchair. They explain why she's in a wheelchair. They also explain they also kind of explain why Elphaba's green. Well, they explain it. It's just that I wish they delved into the reason why. My girlfriend kind of spoiled it for me, so I'm kind of upset about why I know that, but I don't know everything about that yet because I guess it's more so revealed in part two. But anyways, she has a sister and she's given these pair of slippers. And my thoughts are, wait, those aren't the red ruby slippers. They're supposed to be though. What's going on with this? Apparently it's like a copyright thing. So they can't use the ruby red slippers. So they have to use this other pair of slippers, like the silver pair of slippers. And my thoughts are, after I watched the film, I thought, oh God, this is the Wicked Witch of the East. Her sister is the Wicked Witch of the East. Those shoes are going to eventually help her walk, I think. And Dorothy is going to end up crashing her house on the Wicked Witch of the East. This seemingly totally innocent character as of now. Holy shit. So it's because it's an adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. I didn't really delve into that earlier. I should have. That this is the reimagining of the perspective of the Wicked Witch of the West. Maybe I should put that in the beginning. Later on. I think I am. Because it's important to the film to go into that perspective. It's not, oh, this is the true story of the Wizard of Oz, or this is our woke take of the Wizard of Oz, like some people are thinking about. Because, there's a minority who thinks woke. And that's not what this is at all. It's a political film, but I don't think it's quote unquote woke. Anyways, there's a lot of thinking about what part two is going to have if you're not familiar with the musical, like I am, because I'm not. But I'm thinking, oh shit, Elphaba is this sympathetic character, but she is seen by the public as wicked and evil. And of course, she's not going to be evil because she wants to do good. It's just she's the scapegoat for being wicked and evil when there's other evil intentions by other characters who you don't think will be evil and wicked. So I like this fun, unique interpretation, the flipping the script, the damn, Nessa is gonna get crushed by a house, because we're gonna get into the events of The Wizard of Oz, I think, in part two, because that's what's gonna happen, because Elphaba gets killed. It's kind of bittersweet, because you start the film going, oh shit, the Wicked Witch of the West is dead. Elphaba's dead. This character we follow along the entire film, she's dead basically. So that kind of sucks. It's bittersweet. It's not like a knock to the film. It's not like, oh, it's a bad thing. It just sucks. It's bittersweet. You're thinking this whole time, this sympathetic character is gonna die eventually. So that sucks. Yeah. But I'm thinking, in going into Wicked Part 2, oh damn, what are we gonna see in terms of the events of The Wizard of Oz in Wicked Part 2? How are we gonna build up to that? How much of this reimagining of The Wizard of Oz are we gonna see? I'm really curious about that, and I'm more so curious about what Nessa's role is gonna be in Part 2, because she's obviously going to stand and get out of her wheelchair thanks to the slippers, I believe. That was the biggest mindfuck to me. Like, oh shit, I like this character. Why? Of course, she's kind of a dick to her sister because she kind of fucked up her first day at school. But, of course, people are upset with Elphaba being there in general. And her father's a dick, the mayor of Munchkinville or something, the governor of Munchkinland. And he's like, take care of your sister. And the people are like, oh, we'll take her around. We don't want to be around you because you're green. We'll take your normal sister. So it's kind of fucked. The whole perspective of Elphaba being an outcast, basically. It sucks. Because she's a cool character. But that's what the film's about. And I think the fact that the character is portrayed by a black actress adds on to that. And I think it's more impactful that she is a black actress. Because it adds a layer of subtext to that thing going on in general. So those are my final thoughts on Wicked Part 1. This is Part 1 of Part 2. Part 2 releases next year. those are my final thoughts on this film. I really liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And as of now, I'm giving Wicked a B. I really want to give it a higher grade later. I just need to watch it again and wrap my mind around what I really like about the film more so. Because I really did like this film. I liked it a lot. There's a lot of aspects I really, really love. The production of the film's great. The choreography is great. Of course, the music's great. But it's all, apparently, it's all like, music already because it's based on the musical. But the way they're presented, it's great. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm giving Wicked a B. I really liked it. So tell me what you thought about Wicked in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you not like it? I'm curious to see, what people are thinking about this movie. I know a lot of people are really enjoying it, and it's making a lot of money. That's really good. I'm really glad for that because I'm excited for part two. So yeah, tell me what you thought in the comments below, and I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. So yeah, bye. It's December. I want to do Christmas reviews and stuff. I want to talk about Christmas movies, Christmas specials, all that fun jazz. So I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. So yeah, bye.